Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is quarantine day, who the fuck knows, because we've been quarantined for like a week and a half or two, whatever it is at this point. I don't even know. Today we're going to be creating this makeup look. It's a very neutral, shimmery, glittery look. We're just going to be doing a get ready with me, and we're going to be kind of diving into my dating life. I have a series going on my podcast, and I had told you guys in my last vlog that I was going to bring it here to the channel. And with the quarantine and stuff, it just didn't seem like I just wasn't in the headspace to do it. So I'm doing it now. We're just going to be talking about dating apps, situations that I've been in. I'm basically recapping 4 months worth of shit. So I'm, getting through it quickly. This video is probably going to be pretty long. But every story I'm kind of glazing over as quickly as possible just so that I can fill you in up to now. So we can do these once a month. I wanted them to be kind of like Sex and the City-ish, kind of like Carrie's Column, where whatever situation is happening in the moment, we talk about it. And then, if I get into a relationship and I'm, no longer having these crazy dating adventures, we either talk about relationships or I end the series, one or the other. That's fine. Because the goal is to be in a relationship, But I just figured I would share with you guys because, I have such a great response and, people love it on the podcast, but I know not everybody listens to podcasts, so probably repeating myself and shit that I said inside the video, but that is the intro. So I'm going to stop talking. We're going to get into it. If you guys want to see how I created this makeup look and hear about my dating life, then keep on watching. Okay, she's back again with her assistant. My assistant. We have a little moment from my assistant. He's working very hard at being cute. Just in case you're wondering what this is, these are headphones. I actually just got these in. This is not sponsored, but I am working with this brand on a whole different project. Well, a bunch of brands on a whole different project, but these are Aeroplex wireless bone conduction headphones. I don't know what that means. I just got this in the mail. I saw them and I was like, give me those. So I'm listening to my Spotify on my phone right now. Usually I have my Spotify going on my computer. So I'm listening to music in the background, basically, is the moral to that story. So that's why these are in my ears. If that's irritating for you, let me know. And I'll never do that again. I usually have music on in the background when I'm filming or when I'm putting on makeup. But when I'm filming and I'm talking to you guys, obviously I can't. Alright, so today I just thought we would do like I'm kind of in the mood for like a soft glam, bronzy, golden, neutral type of a look today. I already did throw on some primer. I put on this Revlon Photo Ready Prime Plus. I had featured this in a recent video. It was like a trying new makeup video. And I've been using it and I really do like it. And I'm just using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty. Breaking out right here. I've been breaking out so much. I don't know what is going on with my hormones. I never break out. I got like a pimple up here in the most random spot. Like, who gets a pimple right there? Stupid. I can feel one coming in right here too. It's so disrespectful. Anyway, I still have mascara on my eyelids, but like we're gonna ignore that because we're gonna cover it all up. I'm gonna talk about what I'm doing makeup wise a little bit. But I'm going to mostly talk about the topic of the day, dating. For my foundation, I'm using this combo from Smashbox, the Studio Skin Full Coverage and the Infallible Pro Glow. I tried this combination randomly the other day and I loved it. When I first tried this Smashbox, I really liked it. After using it for a while, I actually started to not like it. I didn't like the way that it was performing on my skin throughout the day, and I couldn't figure out why. So I stopped using it for a while, and then I went back to it the other day with the Pro Glow using like the smallest amount of the Smashbox because you can't use a lot of that stuff. If you use too much, it looks like a cakey mess. But I just mix it with the Pro Glow. It's mostly the Pro Glow. And the shades, by the way, this one's 2.18, and this one is 207 Sand Beige. So they're totally different shades, but I'm mixing them together to kind of get what shade I need because I self-tanned. I am now going to apply foundation while I talk to you. Okay, so if you're new here, I'm going to give you a little bit of a recap. If you're not new here, this is going to be repetitive, but that's okay. We'll get everybody up to speed because I'm kind of doing this for the first time on my channel, really. I've always walked that line between personal and professional when it comes to my content because, you know, there can be this tendency to feel like, you know, entitled to an opinion when you know shit about people, and I don't like that. I don't really necessarily need people's opinion, you know what I mean? That's not why I share or would share. I share more because, you know, I know that some people can relate and, you know, maybe some people are going through whatever I'm going through. And as it turns out, there are a lot of people going through what I'm going through. So, that's why I'm sharing. But I started sharing on my podcast because I did share here on my channel that I did go through a breakup. I moved. I did a whole vlog. It was the whole thing. And I was broken up for, like, I broke up a year ago. And then I was living in the same house with him for a while, which was super fun. But I moved out in October and I started dating like shortly after I moved. Like I got on the dating apps and I started dating and I started sharing it with you guys. I mean, I shared a little bit here. I think I was like, did a video and I was telling you guys I was getting ready for a date. But mostly I started sharing the stuff on my podcast, and the first time I did, I got so much feedback from so many people saying that they could relate to like starting over and, you know, dating now and dating apps and how much it sucks that, you know, they loved hearing the stories about, you know, sort of my experience on there and my opinions about being on there and just, you know, whatever. I started a series called The Dating Diaries, and I got a lot of really, I mean, I think the first one was my most downloaded podcast episode ever. So I was like, well, I guess we're doing this. But I know not everybody listens to podcasts, so I figured I would kind of bring some of it over here on my channel for those of you that are out there dating, you know, you can kind of follow along and participate in the drama. Because literally, and I say this all the time, but I can't make this shit up. So I started dating and I started sharing, and I quickly learned that if I share and whoever I'm dating listens, it can turn into a situation that will backfire in my face. So the first time I did it, that happened to me. I'm going to add a lot of cream products before I add powders. I have the Benefit, the old school What's Up highlighter. I got this in PR. And then I have the L'Oreal Infallible. This is like their foundation stick, the long wear shaping stick. But this is in the shade Cocoa. I'm going to be using this for like cream bronzing. And then the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer and the Urban Decay Ultimate Brush Off Powder. So that's what I'm using. Yeah, so I was dating this, or I went on a date with this guy. I went on 2 dates, I think, with him actually. And I did an episode, and he heard it. See, the thing is like in today's like dating world on the freaking apps, like the first question or the third question everybody asks is like, do you have an Instagram? So I can't hide what I do for work. So you know, they're going to find out that I have a podcast, and they're going to find out that I have a YouTube channel, and it's very difficult to, I can't separate it and I can't hide it. I forgot how, look how pretty that is. I forgot how good that shit is. So anyway, yeah, I learned the lesson that, like, while I'm dating, and it sucked too, because, like, I really liked him. Like, I was, like, and I protect their names. Like, they're all Mr. Somebody. Like, he was Mr. Chemistry, and the others have their own little whatever name. Like, I don't reveal who they actually are, but still, it's just not cool to do it in the moment while the actual situation is going on. So that was a learning curve for me, to wait until either I'm not dating the person anymore, it gets to a serious relationship, or it's a month behind. So everything is a month behind. Everything I'm publishing is a month behind. So, like, whatever, like, if I publish a dating diaries today, for example, it would be what happened all last month, not this month. And if there's a situation, and this has happened, that I'm dating a guy and I still wasn't ready to publish something, I didn't. And I waited until the situation resolved itself. Someone asked me the other day what I'm going to do if I get in a relationship. The answer is I either turn the series into, like, a relationship series, or I end it. Of course, the goal is to get into a relationship, right? I'm a relationship person. That's my happy place. I like to have a boyfriend. I don't need to get married. Not tomorrow, anyway. I mean, if it happens, fine. But, like, I've already been married once when I was young. So I don't need to, like, really rush into anything. But I definitely don't love the dating app scene, and I think there are a lot of shady people on there. Like, my ex, one of the reasons that we broke up is because he was on there. The whole time we were together, he was on the dating apps behind my back, because he traveled for work and he went to different cities, and so he would swipe girls in other cities, and it's shady, man. People are shady. But the other thing with dating apps that kind of sucks is that there's too many options. Everybody's got FOMO. You know what I mean? Like, so nobody wants to, like, take a chance on something, because it's like, well, what if I pick this person and then there's someone else on the apps I missed? And then the other thing is, where it used to be, you know, you'd meet a guy out or something, he would ask for your number, and then he'd court you for a while, and then he would try to win you over, and, like, the goal was he wanted you to be his girlfriend, you know, or if it was a match, you know, if he liked you enough. And, like, now I feel like if you're going through the process of starting to get to know someone and they say one thing you don't like or disagree with, or I don't know, anything, they got, like, you know, 5 or 10 other girls on the line. It's like, okay, whatever. Or they could go back on the app and find somebody new literally in 5 minutes to talk to. So it's like, it's hard to get anybody to, like, stop and make a real connection. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's a lot harder to get somebody's attention. You know, like, to keep somebody's attention for longer than a few minutes. And I find myself guilty of it because, I don't know, I guess I'm getting a little bit jaded by the dating process. Foundation all over me. I've found myself not wanting to, like, put all my eggs in any one basket because I end up disappointed. So I diversify. I'm like the dude right now. I'll be, like, talking to, like, 5 different guys just because I know one of them is gonna, like, the one I really like is probably gonna ghost me or something. Because that's, like, the other thing that happens now in dating that never happened before. Ghosting. That's apparently a thing. I hate it more than anything in the world. Like, why are we ghosting? Like, are we not adults? Can we not, like be grown-ups and be like, listen, I don't think it's a match, or I'm not ready for whatever you're ready for, or we're on different, I don't know, something. I'm just the type of person that I'm brutally honest, and I prefer honesty and, like, just communication, and I feel like I'm an adult, that I can handle anything. Like, if it's not a match, it's not a match. I don't want to force anybody to be with me that doesn't want to be. And it should be vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't understand what this ghosting bullshit is. But anyway, side rant. I feel like I might have done an episode talking a little bit about this before. But what I wanted to kind of do is just kind of recap my issues, my thoughts. Then we're going to start talking about the actual experiences and the guys and the dates. Which is, I know is what you guys really want to know about. I thought about it the other day. Like, I'm on, like, a heavy rotation right now where, like, I'm going through guys like I'm going through toilet paper right now. For me, I feel like I've been going out on a lot of dates. And it's exhausting, you guys. It's exhausting. I don't want to date anymore. I just want to find him. I feel like Charlotte. Like, I've been dating since I was 15. Where is he? So, the guy who, Mr. Chemistry, the guy who I went out with, who listens to the podcast and then went bye-bye. I don't know. He disappeared. He was the first guy I went out with when I moved. When you vibe with somebody like that, it's not often. It's not. So I was a little bit disappointed in that one. And then I went out with this other guy. He was super cool, but, like, not a match. He was a little bit, how do I explain? I should probably tell you, like, what my type is. Okay, do I have a type? A little bit. I have criteria more than a type, I would say. And if I was going to tell you a type that I'm always drawn to subconsciously, because I never do it on purpose, it's always law enforcement. I don't know why. Like, military, law enforcement. I always end up with guys in law enforcement. I don't know why. Maybe it's that, like, rescue me thing that we have when we're little girls. Like, damsel. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a little bit of that subconsciously. I prefer not to date anybody in law enforcement because there's a whole set of bullshit that comes along with that. But it does end up happening a lot. Anyway, so I definitely like guys taller than me. Not that I'm a heightist, but I feel like I have kind of become a heightist, like, as I've gotten older. I'm 5'8", so, like, I prefer guys to be 5'10" and over. Again, damsel. It's like that whole, I don't know. This is how we're wired as women, I don't know. And then, like, I like it when guys are into fitness because I am into fitness. And I find, like, that if you're dating somebody who doesn't work out or whatever, that's almost too drastic of a lifestyle difference, in my opinion. Like, if you're dating somebody who eats McDonald's and plays video games all day and you're, like, at the gym, like, that's not gonna work, you know what I mean? So definitely I prefer guys who work on their fitness and give a shit about health and taking care of themselves. What else? I don't know. I can remember being in, like, high school and college. And one of the things my girlfriends and I used to say, like, we loved guys that had, like, we would call it suave hair. You know? Do the hair with the hair gel and the whole thing. I don't know. It's a thing. Into it. Anyway, so that's sort of my type. Now, I definitely have dated guys outside of that. I don't tend to lean towards guys of my complexion, like my dark hair. And I don't know if it's because I have that or what. Even though my ex did. Should have been my first clue. No, my ex did. But usually I don't go for that. And I tend to not go for blondes either. Ends up being like that middle of the road, like ashy brown hair color. That ends up being like, if I look at my history of boyfriends, most of them had that coloring. And again, this is not conscious. I'm just like looking at my choices. the choices that I have made in the past. Oh, I didn't tell you this. I just used the Fenty Caramel Cutie Bronzer and the Maxi Blush from Rimmel in third base. And now we're going to use this Jungle Rock, Bretman Rock, Wet n Wild collaboration. We're going to use the highlight. This is the loose powder highlight. We're going to use the Side Lioness, which is the yellowy one. I love this highlighter. So anyway, so I went on one date with this guy. He was like super cool, but like a tiny bit too soft. I like more rugged, more like, I don't know, like rugged might not be the right word. I don't know, you have to be like a dude, you know? And he wasn't like masculine enough for me, I think. This video is going to probably come off sounding extremely shallow. And then I went out with this other guy who was kind of like, he was masculine, but he was like friend zone. You know what I mean? He was like the type of person like I would hang out with and be friends with and talk about boys too. So that didn't work. We went on one date. We had a great time, but like, I was like, no way. This isn't... Like, I want to be with somebody who I literally want to rip their clothes off every single day. You know what I mean? Like, I want that kind of like, And I know it's fleeting, and I know it fades. But if you have that as like a foundation, it's half the battle. Because it will fade. I mean, you have to be friends. Like, I want a best friend. I want somebody who's, like, I can sit and talk to for hours and hours and hours. But also, I want to rip their clothes off. You know what I mean? So that guy, he was nice. And then I went out with this guy, and he was, I don't know, what did we call him? Mr. Hot Mess. Ugh, he was like an alcoholic. He was a mess. And he was in deep denial. And his pictures, this is all-nighter. His pictures were, I felt catfished. He posted pictures when he was like all fit and shit. And I went there, and he was, like, all overweight and sloppy. I don't even think he showered before the date. It was so gross. I was like, what is this? He smelled like cigarette smoke. And then when I told him about his life, because he asked me, like, can I see you again? I was like, I don't think it's a good fit. Like, because I'm not a ghoster. I will tell you about yourself if you ask me, you know? And, I was like, I don't think it's a good fit. I think that you know, have to work on, you know, your own stuff before you can be good for anybody else. Because he did kind of tell me about some of his drama and shit. And I was just like, oh, God, too much. I don't want to get involved with anybody that has, like, a lot of drama. So anyway, then he argued with me about it. Like, can you imagine? You're telling somebody, like, I don't think it's a good fit, and they're arguing with you. I was like, all right, cool. You think that's going to make me change my mind? I'm doing my brows right now. I am using the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter and the Urban Decay Brow Blade. So then I met a guy who was not ready to date. Oh my God. He had been divorced like 5 minutes, and he like made me get verified on Bumble, and like I felt like everything was an interrogation. Like, I joked around that I was going to bring my social security card and birth certificate to our date, and it was a coffee date. Like, you know, if it's a coffee date, like, the dude doesn't want to either buy you drinks or he doesn't want to commit to, like, a full night with you. So that's a red flag, I feel like. Coffee dates are... You know what I mean? It's my opinion. I mean, it's fine for, like, a second or third date, but first date, coffee date, no, mind you, we're in tough times now with this quarantine. We'll talk about quarantine dating at another time, and you can still date during the quarantine. All you have to do is go to a public place and sit 6 feet away, you know what I'm saying? It can be done. So, Mr. Play It Safe was a mess. He was just not ready to date, and he, like, told me at the date, like, he's like, what are you looking for? And I was like, what is anybody looking for? What do you mean, what am I looking for? I want a boyfriend. I want a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, and he was like, oh, I'm not ready for that. And I was like, thinking to myself, what the fuck are you doing here then? Like, I clearly put it, like, on my dating profiles, like, I'm not looking for a hookup. Like, I'm looking for a relationship. And if you're looking for a hookup, beat it. You know what I mean? So that was a waste of an hour that I'll never get back. But I should preface this, and I didn't say this before, but I should. I'm kind of in a place of yes. And what I mean by that is that if there's somebody that I match with and I'm talking to them and the conversation's pretty decent, like, I'm going to go out with them just to see, because I have nothing to lose, and you never know. You might miss out on somebody because you have some preconceived notion that is completely wrong. And I will tell you this, more times than not, with only the exception of Mr. Chemistry, and no, I think that was it. I think he's the only one that I went out with and right away knew I liked him. The rest of the guys that I've dated for a couple weeks or a month or whatever, I wasn't into it at first. I left the first date being like, it's kind of like a TV show, you know what I mean? Where you watch the first episode and it's all set up. It's hard to get into. You have to wait till like the second or third episode before the show gets good. I'm finding dating to be very much like that. Whereas like it takes me to like the second or third date to be like, all right, yeah, I like him. And then I end up liking him and then he ends up being a dick. No, sorry. I mean, yes, but no. So Mr. Play It Safe, yeah, he was lame. I'm like giving you the cliff notes on everybody so I can bring you up to speed. And then I went out with this guy, Mr. Southern Charm. I call him that because he's from the South, but also because like I really was not feeling it. And then he just kept pursuing and pursuing and pursuing. And that's the thing with me. I end up falling for guys who come for me. You know what I mean? Like who fight for me. That ends up being how I fall for them. I'm not somebody who's going to throw myself at someone. And if a dude is acting like unsure or wishy-washy or doesn't seem about me, I'm going to keep it moving. I need for a guy to show me that he's really into it for me to take the risk of being vulnerable and letting my emotions get involved. And maybe that's over time and, you know, just being hurt in the past or whatever. I don't know really why, but that definitely is a big factor. So this guy came for me and he broke my walls down and I ended up dating him. I dated him for a little bit over a month, but he became a very negative. He was negative, man. And oh, by the way, I didn't say this. I'm using the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Palette Volume 1. I'm going to be using the browns in here. So, yeah, he became very negative. And now, I can definitely lean negative if I'm not careful. I tend to take on other people's vibes. If you're negative, then it ends up rubbing off on me. So I have to be careful not to surround myself with negative people. I really work hard to be a positive person and to be a happy person. So when someone else is super negative, that becomes toxic for me. Well, it becomes toxic for everybody, but I'm just really aware of it, I guess. All right, so I'm going to take these off. Ow. Because my headband is like crushing my ears and that's not comfortable. So I'm going to take that off for now and I'm going to focus. If you ever want to if you want to hear like the hard details about any of these situations, you definitely want to go over to the podcast and listen because I go in on details over there. I feel like I kind of can't do that here because this is a video and I'm wrapping up 4 months of dating right now real quick. I'm not going to bring you too current because like I said, I don't want to talk about anything that's in progress right now. But I'm just trying to catch you up to speed so we can be kind of as current as we can be, you know what I mean? I'm actually going to go in with sparkling liquid eyeshadow from the Balm. This is in the shade, what is this shade? Champagne. I used the lavender one in the other look and I used it as like a base and I didn't like it as a base. I've been using this as an eyeshadow and I love it. Actually, they have a brush too. I've been using the brush with it. So pretty. It doesn't dry crackly. It just dries like, I don't know. It just dries down to this like eyeshadow. which is what I love about it. It doesn't get crusty or cracky or heavy or hard on the lid, you know what I mean? It dries down, but it doesn't dry down dry feeling. You know what I mean? Am I making sense? Anyway. So, okay, Southern Charm. So, he ended up becoming a very negative. Like, very negative. And I just couldn't handle it. There were some other issues, too. And like I said, all that is laid out on the podcast. But I dated him for a while, and we weren't exclusive. Like, we never said we were exclusive, even though we kind of were. Like, we just, neither one of us were really dating anyone else. Well, he deleted his app right away because he said he only likes to date one girl at a time, which I definitely appreciated. But, like, I didn't get off. I was like, no, I'm not getting off the apps. But I didn't date anybody during that time. And there was a bunch of reasons for that. I got really sick. I had the flu. It was the holidays. I don't know. I just didn't feel like dating. So I ended up spending like a decent amount of time with him. And I hate to say this, but I always knew that he wasn't going to be a long-term thing. I feel like inherently you kind of know. You know what I mean? And I felt like I knew, but, you know, I was having fun, so I just like kind of went with it. But then the negativity just wasn't stopping, and it became really too much for me. So then I boned out. I kind of got fed up with it one day, and I just kind of laid into it. Like when he came, like he started in, and I was just like, you know what, I can't with this negativity. I can't do it. And I think I like offended him, so we stopped talking, and then we haven't spoken since. Which I was fine with because I was so annoyed in the moment. Like, I was just like, I'm so tired of this negative shit. You know, he's definitely somebody who's a good person, and you know what I mean? No bad blood. Just wasn't a good fit, you know? After him, Seattle. Okay, so after him was Seattle. I have notes. I write these notes for my podcast specifically because shit, I'll never remember all this stuff. I just write like bullet points so that I make sure that I cover everything. But anyways, so then I met this guy randomly on, I want to say Bumble. So the apps that I'm on, let me say that. I'm on Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder. And I wasn't on Tinder for a long time, and I only recently got on there. So I met this guy. He was here on a convention. See, in Vegas, there's a lot of people coming in and out every weekend, and it's all conventions. So people are not like, or it's a lot of it's conventions, and people are not from here. So it gets hard to find people who live here, like locals, like actual locals. I'm taking this pigment from Bodyography called Bubbly, and I'm just going to apply it with my finger over the balm stuff, the shadow, to make it more sparkly. Yeah, so it gets hard to find locals because everyone's like, oh, I'm in town for the weekend looking for fun. Oh, I got a hall pass. Like, let's hang out and get drunk and come down the strip and, you know, ridiculousness. Dating in Vegas is very hard. Like, if you actually want something real. I met this guy. He was in town for a convention. We didn't meet. We just were talking, and he was leaving, and he's like, you know, maybe we could exchange info, and one day if I'm in town, you know, you never know. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. And then we started talking, and then he came in town. He came back in town like a couple weeks later, and we got together. And that was like the weirdest freaking date of my entire life. Okay, maybe not the weirdest, but it was weird. We're like having a good time, having fun. And somewhere along the lines, he just suddenly is like, are you ready to leave? And I was like, wait, what? I wasn't like, it was just out of left field. You know how like when you're hanging out with people and you kind of get the vibe, like, okay, it's winding down, like, let's go, it's getting late, whatever. No, this was like mid-date, like, super random and, like, unexpected. And he's just like, okay, ready to go? And I was just like, wait, what? He called an Uber, I call an Uber. His Uber gets there before mine. He jumps in his Uber and leaves me standing there on the curb. It's fucking weird. And again, this whole full story actually is on my podcast. I will link all of the episodes down below if you want to recap all of them in more detail, because, like I said, I go into a lot more detail over there. But anyways, so that was weird. And then after Seattle, I went on a date with this guy. We'll call him Mr. Mom. He like literally had full custody of like a 6-year-old who was so cute, but that was like way deep. It was way deep. And actually we had a really good first date, but then he went on a business trip and then texted me thinking I was somebody else. Like he meant to text a different girl, I think. Hilarious. After that, I was like, dude, you're sloppy. So then I met Mr. 50 Shades. I'm not gonna get into too much detail here, but we dated for about a month. And I definitely liked him. But he came at me pretty hard. Like, he was the one, because the first time I went on a date with him, I was like, he's nice, but I just don't feel any chemistry. Like, that's what I thought. That changed real quick by date 2. It's so funny. It's like I was saying, like, it's like when you watch a show. You know, you get into a new series, and first episode is just all, like, set up, and it's hard to get into the show. Like, it's hard to know how good or bad a show is going to be by the first episode. So you got to kind of give it 2 or 3 episodes before, like, you know, like, all right, I like this show, or this show isn't for me. It's kind of the same with dating, I feel. So the first date with 50 Shades was not, like, I just wasn't feeling that. I was like, he's nice. He's so nice. But, little ho-hum, I thought. His nickname became 50 Shades, okay? Anyway, yeah, we were dating for a while, and he was just, like, really all about it. Like, he was just ready to delete the apps and walk down the aisle. And that scared the shit out of me, and I was kind of like, ugh, and I kept trying to keep the whole thing at arm's length because I was like, this is moving too fast. This is too fast. It took about a month, and I was like, okay, I guess we can delete the apps now. And we deleted the apps, and then we were at my house. There's so much more to the story. You gotta listen to the podcast. He drove home. Actually, is this even on the podcast yet? I don't even think this is up yet. If it isn't, then you guys are hearing this first. So he drove home. We're at my house. We ceremoniously delete all of our apps. Open them up. He only had 1. I had like 3 or 4. Diversify. And we delete them. And then he drives home from my house that night. This is like an hour or 2 later. And he's like, oh, on my ride home, I just realized I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. And I'm like, he deleted the app, his app on date like 4. And I was like, no, what are you doing? Don't do that. Like, it's too much pressure. A month in, the minute I'm like, okay, fine, we can delete it. He's like, no, I'm not ready. Fucking dudes, man. I can't. It's so hard to date and find somebody normal, honestly. So at that point, I was like, wait, what? And everything was like seemingly fine. In fact, 2 days earlier, he like told his parents about me. Then, after that, I was pretty mad. Because I was like, dude, why'd you do it then? Like, I'm all about say what you mean what you say. Like, don't tell me you want to delete the app and then delete it and then be like, oh, I'm not ready. Like, that's so immature. I got mad, and then he ghosted me for like a couple days. And I was like, what is going on? And then he basically came around and was like, I want to talk. Can we meet in person and talk? it was right before the quarantine, and he just kept pushing it off. Like, oh, we'll talk in a couple days when I figure out what's going on with work and all this. And I'm like, this is bullshit. He was like stringing me along, and I'm like, listen, I basically told him, like, I'm not sitting around here waiting on you, okay? Next. And so I ended up meeting another guy and going out with him. That's where I have to leave it for today. Because all the rest of the things that I have to share will have to happen next month. 50 Shades is such a long and involved story that, like, I had almost a full episode about, like, the beginning portion. And then I have another episode coming with the end portion. And that situation did wrap up and resolve. So, obviously, like, it's finished. I will say, though, like, I'm so over it. Like, I'm just, like, tired, you guys. I'm tired of dummies. Like, I've had so many times guys come at me so hard where they're like, oh, like, they're just all about me. And then all of a sudden, like, they just disappear. And I can't, it's like, it's hard, it becomes hard to trust anybody. Like, anything they say, you know, because they'll tell you, like, how much they feel. Like, I'm so into you, whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, if you're so into me, then how do you disappear? Because I don't do, like, if I'm really into somebody, I'm not disappearing. But that's why I think, like, a lot of it is just bullshit. And I do have the counsel. And if you guys don't know who the counsel is, I did a whole Dating Diaries episode with the counsel. And he is basically my guy friend who is on consult. He basically breaks down men's behavior for me. So I basically know what the hell I'm dealing with. He should be a relationship, like, coach or something. He's really good at it. But anyway, this is not sharp enough. This is like, this lip liner is so small, and I, like, am hanging on for dear life. What was I saying? Yeah, it just gets hard to trust guys, you know? To trust anything that comes out of anybody's mouth. I'm going to be using this Marc Jacobs Le Marc lipstick in No Angel. No Angel. Yeah, that color is really good. I didn't put anything in my waterline, so I'm going to put this Urban Decay 24/7 Glide Pencil in, why can't I remember the name? I use it all the time. Double Life. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of mascara to, like, blend the lashes. Okay, you guys, so I did a couple things off camera. I changed the lashes. I put on the House of Lashes Iconic Minis. This is the box, but this is them on my eyes. What I had on before was the Kiss Blowout Lash in Shag, and I just don't like these. I don't even know why I still have them, because I don't know if you can tell, but, like, the lash is full throughout evenly, and I like lashes that have the wisp on the ends. I just feel like it flatters my eyes so much better. I just was looking at them, I'm like, I don't like these lashes at all. And I just have so many lashes and a lot of, like, styles I don't like, and I don't know why I keep them around, and then I try them and I'm like, no, I don't like you. I also added some glitter. Just the glitter from the Tati Beauty palette. I put like a mixture of the Soothe glitter and the Ritual glitter. I put, like, some of the Soothe in the front and a little bit of the Ritual in the end, and I really kind of liked the pop of sparkle. Now I'm feeling this look. First I was like, I don't think I like how this came out, but now I'm like, all right, fine, I like it. So anyway, that's pretty much wraps up, like, 4 months of my dating life. Like, the cliff notes, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is not a lot of heavy detail, only because, like, this is a video, and this video will be way too long if I got into all that. Currently, at the time I'm filming this video, I'm still very single. I think this is the longest, maybe the longest I've actually been single in a long time. I'm enjoying it, though. Like, it's so funny when I started to think about getting involved with 50 Shades and I started thinking about the reality of having a boyfriend, I definitely had to really think about it. Like, I like being single right now. Do I want a boyfriend? But I do. I just almost like started to enjoy being single a little too much. But at the end of the day, I really do want a relationship and I want to find somebody that is the right fit for me. And I'll wait it out for that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not in a rush to be with somebody who isn't right for me. So that's sort of like where I'm at. And you know, I'm in my 40s and I have no kids. So I guess I'm kind of in like a weird place for the dating world. It feels like I'm navigating new territory that is uncharted, you know? And so that's why I figured I would share this stuff with you, because a lot of you are saying that you can relate to starting over and having to date and dating later in life. And, you know, you run into things like guys with kids, or you're facing things like finances and things that maybe never were an issue before when you were younger, you know what I mean? It's definitely different when you go into the dating world a little bit later, and especially in the world of dating apps. It's like the Wild West. It's so crazy, the things that happen and weird things that people do. I mean, I didn't even tell you guys about the dick pics that I've got. I had to put on my profile, like, do not send me dick pics, because who does that? You know? A lot of people, as it turns out. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment down below if you're dating and if you have any like stories that, you know, are similar, or if you can relate to any of this. And if you're not single, do you enjoy living vicariously through single people and hearing our drama? What do you guys think about this as a topic for like Get Ready With Me's? I was thinking I could do it once a month and I could kind of recap you on like what went on the month before. And I could probably get into a little bit more detail because I won't be recapping 4 months worth of guys. You know, I just figured Carrie Bradshaw did it and she was great at it, you know. Everybody loves Sex in the City, right? It's kind of a similar concept where, you know, I'm not getting into sex per se, but like just talking about dating in general. I feel like everybody can relate to that on some level. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you never miss when I upload a video. You can follow me on social. My handle's @GLAMLATTE. And don't forget, the Glam Latte Beauty Podcast is on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, CastBox, and iHeartRadio. All those details are in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.
I just wanna hold you. I just wanna look into